Right, before we start this video, I just need to say something. I'm so sorry, but I made a mistake when I recorded this. Throughout this video, I refer to the fictitious singer from the movie Trap as the Black Raven, when in fact her name is actually Lady Raven. I am so embarrassed. I know this is just disgraceful and I will try and do better in the future. However, the points I make about the name being quite silly still are valid because Lady Raven is still quite weird. Trap that is. We all feel trapped every now and then. Okay, we're gonna do a film review today and you're just gonna have to sit there and take it, okay? Good. Today we'll be talking about the glorious movie Trap by M. Night Shyamalan.
His name is Spencer. He's 22 years old. He's into sustainable agriculture.
Somebody help me, please.
For those of you who haven't seen it or haven't heard about it, I'll give you a quick plot synopsis. So it's basically about this father taking his daughter to this huge concert of this massive pop star. It's basically like a Taylor Swift type or an Ariana Grande type, but it's a fictitious pop star called the Black Raven. The twist is, I guess the twist comes at the start of the movie as opposed to being at the end like most M. Night Shyamalan films. The father is actually secretly an infamous serial killer psychopath guy, and this concert has all been put on as an elaborate trap for him specifically. They don't know who he is, they don't know what he looks like, they just know that he is definitely going to be here on this day. And basically the feds are there, they've put maximum security all about the venue. No one's getting in or out without them like figuring out who this guy is apparently. It's impossible, he's trapped, hence the name, it's brilliant. Kinda dope, right? You know, instead of me explaining it to you, I can just show you this part of the trailer that does it anyway.
So they set up a trap for him.
The reason I wanted to talk about this film today, because it's been out for a few months already, is because it was a funny one for me. I remember seeing the trailer for this and thinking, alright, this is going to be complete shit, this is just going to be trash. It looked like a stupid, formulaic Blumhouse film. It didn't even look like a bad M. Night film. It had no mark of his on it. That one trailer was really corny, where it had that bit at the end where he goes, kinda dope, right? And he goes, does a serious face, ooh, scary.
He's kind of dope, right?
That clip has been living in my head rent-free all year. However, I go to see it at the cinema, and my experience, for the most part, was quite positive. I had a lot of fun watching it. It kept me entertained. I was never bored. It wasn't dull. It wasn't necessarily bland. I don't regret watching it or anything. However, I don't think it was good either, because it's still quite dumb. It's a very goofy, bombastic premise, almost sensational, like, OMG, it's a psychopath at a concert. He's with his daughter. What's going to happen? It's almost like it was designed in a lab to be the perfect kind of movie for teenage girls who love certain kinds of horror movies. You know the kinds of people I mean, like the normie, Annabelle, Conjuring fans. Oh no, oh he's so scary, but he's so nice, it's so creepy how he smiles at people. That's my impression of teenage girls, that it sounds like fucking grandma. Due to the over-the-top, high-stakes premise, there's probably a ton of plot holes here and there. There's one moment where he pushes a lady down the stairs and no one notices, nor are there any cameras on him apparently. It's one of those kinds of films. Like, this is a huge concert venue, and on this particular day, there's maximum security. There should be cameras everywhere, but apparently not. I'm not really a plot hole guy, so I don't really care about these things unless it's ridiculously obvious, but being a plot hole nitpicker is a beta male move as a film reviewer, and you shouldn't do it. So I'm cool, YMS and all those lot, they're betas, I'm alpha. Now that's a joke obviously, but for real I think that me not being such a stickler for plot holes is probably what allowed me to enjoy this movie more than some people maybe. I'm more of a tone guy, like acting, execution, etc, which by the way is still really dumb in this, but I kind of enjoyed it for that. Josh Hartnett is literally a name that's like just waiting for someone to mispronounce it. I bet everyone said Harnett or something. Josh Hartnett, who's the main guy, he gives a really fun B-movie-esque performance of basically a quintessential psychopath. It's the ultimate Hollywood take on crazy person, like, hee, I'm gonna smile now. Like, when your back's turned, I'm like this, but when I'm gonna go like that after.
Sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. We cool?
I'm a nice guy, but it's insincere. Ooh, that's freaky, isn't it? I'm not even faulting the actor for that because I think it, for the most part, fits the tone. He was entertaining to watch throughout, and despite how typical and cliche you could say it was, I think he brought it to life and made it his own, made it enjoyable. It was a lot of fun watching him use false charisma on people to manipulate his way in and out of situations.
You guys want donuts? Yeah. I'll leave them out. So if they have a positive experience, we don't need them to be best friends. They just need to coexist, not see each other as threats. Sound like a plan?
Hartnett almost carries the film, arguably. I'm not opposed to cliches or simplistic campy depictions of certain concepts in films, just so long as the piece doesn't take itself too seriously. You know, like Joker. By all means be tropey, be overly conventional, but just have fun with it and don't pretend like you're anything other than what you are. Think of Biff from Back to the Future, like he is the quintessential bully stereotype, yet the film embraces the tone so heavily that it becomes endearing. It depicts it in such an animated manner that you can't help but be amused, and it doesn't take itself too seriously again. My big query when it comes to Trap, however, and this is why I made this video, is how intentional is all of this campiness? Does this film know it's just a bit of dumb fun, or does it think it's being this serious, intense horror movie? Like for me personally, I enjoyed this film similar to how I enjoy a film from James Wan like Malignant, where the film leans so heavily into silliness that it becomes a partial parody of a movie almost. This is also why I like the film Megan. Like I didn't see that as this really scary, dark film. I just saw it as an intentionally schlocky action horror film where it's more designed to amuse than to disturb.
You should probably run.
You're kind of dope, right?
Like that film is loaded with ridiculous tropes and awful hammy acting, but I loved it for that. However, then comes the question, was that the film's actual intentions? Was it taking itself seriously, or did it know it was a joke? Was it just a ridiculously awful movie that just came over as a parody? Probably.
I won't let anything harm you ever again.
I'm still not sure, but there is a lot of evidence to suggest that it's not self-aware. And it's the same feeling with Trap, because I know what M. Night Shyamalan is like. This guy makes profoundly dumb movies and he takes it all so seriously. Like his movies are retarded, and I don't use that word lightly. Like this is the most appropriate use of that word probably.
You see this ring? This ring can supposedly tell you what you're feeling. Let's see what you're feeling right now.
His films can have some of the worst acting you've ever seen, and it's played completely straight. The last film I saw of his before Trap was Old, and that was one of the worst films I've seen in recent memory.
Everything's gonna be okay. What's your name?
I'm Trent. This is my sister Maddox.
Trap is a lot better than Old. Like for one, it actually functions as a somewhat competent movie. I'm sure casual audience members enjoyed this, which is actually quite a rarity with the contemporary works of this director. Again, you have Josh Hartnett giving a genuinely good performance. I thought he played the persona of the affable, warm father really well. There was no dialogue that felt too
Wait!
ridiculous.
I gotta tie my shoe.
No dad jokes, this is serious, come on.
I'm sorry!
No dialogue that felt too pandering. He did make a lot of dad jokes, but it wasn't in this overly Hollywood way.
Why don't you and I take a picture together when we go inside? You and your dad. Jody will be so jelly.
He did such a good job that I actually like this guy. He seemed like a really cool dad. The charisma tactics worked on me, I guess. As for the rest of the cast, there weren't any particular performances that stood out to me as being bad. There was some silly dialogue here and there, but nothing that bothered me. If anything, it would just make me laugh when people said generic movie lines. No way out, bozo. I love how the name of the pop star is the Black Raven. It's like the least pop star sounding name ever. It's like a 15-year-old kid came up with it trying to be edgy. I liked how all of these Taylor Swift normie girls were like, yes, Lady Raven, Lady Raven. It's like this is the most Reddit shit ever. OMG, it's Lady Raven. M. Night Shyamalan's daughter is in this as Lady Raven. She's got quite a big role in this, particularly towards the end when she kind of becomes the protagonist. When I watched this film for the first time, I didn't know it was M. Night's daughter, so when it went in this direction where it kind of switched gears, switched perspectives, I saw that and thought, oh, this is interesting. This has gone in a direction I didn't expect. Finding out afterwards that it was his daughter, however, did kind of sour it for me because now it's just a father trying to bolster the career of his daughter. That's the real reason why she's got this big role, and it kind of makes her involvement in the film feel a bit cynical. Well, it is very cynical. Performance-wise, she wasn't even that bad. There's one moment where she's talking directly at the camera, not to the audience, but to the character. It's a POV shot. In that moment, I did get a whiff of the old familiar M. Night Shyamalan schlocky acting.
You can choose to be good, Cooper, and make everyone proud, the way you did when you were little. You sometimes did good things.
The dialogue was a bit ham-fisted, but then again, the whole film's ham-fisted.
Get your family and other adults and go there right now. There's a young man in a basement.
She was taking that really seriously, and again, I wasn't sure if she was aware of the goofy tone. For what it's worth, I did like the unexpected twists and turns that the film went in towards the end. I thought the whole film would take place at the concert, and it didn't. It goes other places. It subverted my expectations. It did drag itself out, however. Like, this film should have been a clean 90 minutes with how simplistic and goofy it was. I looked and it was only an hour and 45 minutes, but it felt like 2 hours. It still should have been shorter. It does try and dig into the themes and character emotions towards the end, and personally I wasn't really there for that. Again, that's when things start to get a bit more serious, and I don't think that this film should be straying anywhere near that misplaced sense of depth. And then again, it doesn't linger for too long on all of that, so perhaps it's not that much of an issue. Just keep things simple, M. Night. You're not making cinematic poetry over here. For most of the duration, you're watching Josh Hartnett trying to figure out different ways of escaping, and it's really engaging to watch. Things hardly ever get stagnant. Watching him go around and using his insincere, friendly persona to get information out of people or get access to restricted areas, that was all great. He's a psychopath, but weirdly, you want him to get out. You're rooting for him, which is strange. You're in his shoes and you're going, how am I going to get out of this one? Maybe over here. Oh, no, can't do that. All right. What else? This one? No, that's off limits. Oh, crap. Oh, shit! No, but you're in his shoes and it's like you're immersed. Oop, change of plan. Whoopsie. And then at the end, him and the Black Raven fall in love and have lots of babies, and that's the big twist. It's actually a love story all along. I'm reluctant to say that the plot beats in this film were clever. I'd say that maybe they're dumb clever, like the simplistic type of clever where it's like, ah, ha ha. Don't think on it too hard. If you started to analyse all of the logistics, things would probably fall apart. I know a lot of people would say that that makes it a shit movie, and I wouldn't argue with that at all. Again, I just enjoy earnest dumbness in films. However, pushing that woman down the stairs, that is just stupid through and through. Like, there's suspension of disbelief, and then there's just taking the piss.
That's my daughter, Riley, over there, the one losing her.
Despite all I've gone over today, I still can't quite deduce if this film is good or not. Because again, it's sort of a parody of a movie, but we don't know if it's being self-aware because it's made by the lunatic who directed The Happening. Josh Hartnett's performance is the only concrete piece of quality storytelling that I can latch onto. Just to give you an idea, I gave this a 2.5 on Letterboxd when I first saw it, and I felt no urge to go back on that decision. This film kind of lingers in that strange in-between state of fine, entertaining, silly, schlocky, again like Megan or the Conjuring movies. I don't think it's awful, but I also don't think it's good. I don't take it seriously as a movie for the most part. More tangible criticisms that you could throw at it are it being sanitized and pandering. It's a psychopath movie that's a PG-13. It's obviously trying to be as marketable as possible. Even when I watched this in the cinema, I was thinking this is extremely palatable to most audiences. I just thought that. It does have the resemblance of a factory Hollywood thriller movie, but again, what can I say? I enjoyed it. I couldn't bring myself to dislike it in any meaningful way.
Kinda dope, right? You get me.
And yeah, it is a little sanitized maybe, but personally I didn't feel the absence of any gore. It's just a fine, inoffensive movie with some good qualities that I enjoyed. Structurally it maintains a solid momentum. Josh Hartnett just stops it from being bland, I guess, or maybe it's just the sheer larger-than-life tone. Compared to M. Night's recent batting average, it's a fucking masterstroke. It's not as good as Split. I think that's a genuinely decent film, and it doesn't have shit on The Sixth Sense. I'm sure when YMS reviews this, he'll point out all of the dumb, gaping plot holes, but as for myself, I'm just not that interested. I'm just not that motivated to really talk about that or investigate it. I started this review with the express intentions of figuring out whether this film was good or not, and for the life of me, I still don't quite know. But in a way, that's nice. You don't want to know everything. Let it be a mystery. Let it be an unanswered question. Who knows? I mean, probably you guys know because I'm just being confused, but whatever. Now, this film fucking sucks, actually. And remember to fucking subscribe. Special thanks to the patrons. Thank you, DF. Thank you, Mason Lydon. Thank you, Matt Delaney. Thank you, Adam Joseph. You guys are elite human beings, and you should start a society of, like, pure-blooded... Never mind, let's not go down that route. Let's not get Aryan with the patrons, for Christ's sake. That's one wholesome part of the video. Be part of this. That's good marketing. Be a part of the superior race, the Bacho patrons, the Fourth Reich. God's sake, stop making everything edgy. Sorry, yeah.